Hey everyone, welcome to Heart Center Tarot. And as always, my name is Marina, and I will be your guide for this portion of the journey. And it's Wednesday, so it's Let's Talk Astrology with John from Massalia Astro Tarot. Say hi, John.
Hello.
Say hi, John.
Hello. That wasn't me.
Okay, we've been playing here backstage. Oh, yeah, we've been playing backstage with, trying this, that, and the other thing, trying to get it so that we're not choppy, we're not whatever. So yeah, if the picture isn't as clear, I've taken off the other camera and microphone, and we're going old school, and I hope and it's going to work, and it's going to be just fine. So thank you for being here, those of you that are here. And Teresa Levine popped in early to say hi, Marina and John. So hi, Teresa,
Hello.
when we see you. And to those of you that are lurking and not saying too much, hi. And today it's all about Libra. All about Libra. So, which of course is my favorite topic because I'm a Libra. So okay, alrighty. Without any further ado, I don't really have any announcements to make. Yeah, we had John and I did the reading for our first winner, Randy. So she had her astrology reading and tarot reading today, and I think she enjoyed them and had a good time. So okay, alrighty. Other than that, I don't really have anything that's upcoming. Working on a few things, nothing solid. So, hey, D Rose. And okay, John, take it away.
Oh,
It's up to you.
yay. Okay, let's do
Yay.
this. Okay,
Let's
so
do
today
this.
it's today is all about the sign of Libra. So, as we continue towards the end of the zodiac, we are about now to enter the second half of the zodiac, which contains the more mature sign. This is the maturing period, as we were from Aries to Virgo. It was all about constructing an identity with the first six zodiac sign, and the individual was all about understanding its own mechanism, its own thoughts and feeling about itself, about themselves. And now they
Mm-hmm.
are now ready to encounter and form bonds with others. So here you can see that the first half of the zodiac is now cleared. And we're about to do the second one with Libra. So now, entering Libra, the job of that sign is to establish healthy relationships, and so that a strong reputation can be achieved later in Capricorn. So now for the next signs up until Capricorn, it is all about um, going deeper into the relationships and understanding
Mm-hmm.
the other self, so that
Hi,
we can
Brandy.
now emerge from something greater than ourselves by having a kind of team mentality, or at least like a teammate mentality, rather than being ourselves working alone. So there's here the scales put on its best clothes and demeanor so it can attract a potential mate. The scales are all about being attractive to others, because there's definitely a seducing element in Libra, being ruled by Venus, but Comparing to the other sign ruled by Venus, it is usually less
Mm-hmm.
purely about appearance sake and more on an intellectual affinity. Remember, the first sign ruled by Venus was Taurus here at the bottom here. So it was more a material
Mm-hmm.
attachment. But now in Libra, it is more of an intellectual and emotional understanding of each other, how we compare to the other self, how can we establish a good relationship. So Libra tries to appeal to people by being open to conversation and by appearing moderate. Of course, it is the scale. So you don't want the scales to be tipping over too much on one side or the other. The ultimate goal of Libra is balance. Uh oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sure. Um Another crucial aspect of this sign is to compare it with its opposite sign, Aries. So the first sign of the zodiac was all about using its impulses to manifest the self into the world, regardless of external considerations. It was all fiery and very self-centric. But here with Libra, it's the opposite. The individual
Right.
must make room for others to create and sustain harmony in hopes of reaching balance in everything they do. Aries act before thinking to the point of being brash and self centered, while Libra think before acting to the point of not being able to make up its mind. It is the opposite here. And
Well,
this is the
yeah.
first time in the podcast that we're now at the reverse side of another podcast. So now we're establishing this kind of polarity that is
Mm-hmm.
established here within each sign that is opposite to each other. So now, sorry, the Aries Libra axis is all about relational
It's okay.
axis. This is the relational axis that we're talking about. So Aries is the pole that is all about us, forming an identity for who am I? How can I manifest myself to the world? And Libra is its opposite. It is how can I cooperate? How can I express the other's opinion in a way that is non-confrontational? So the relational axis can be difficult, of course, to
Mm-hmm.
maintain because there's always a tug of war between what do we want and what the other wants. So these two signs form the relational axis, like I said before, as they exemplify the dilemma we encounter every time we step into a relationship. So Aries is like the uncontrollable beast that is all about purely being instinctive in action, while Libra's job is to civilize this beast, to tame that beast to the point of being, um, I would say, more presentable. But at the same time, you don't want to neuter that beast to the point of being a pushover. So this is the tightrope we are about to navigate
Yeah.
between what I want, what are my cravings, versus what is expected of me socially, what is expected, what the other expects me to do in a relationship. It always strikes me as
Okay.
interesting to see this comparison. We all know about Beauty and the Beast, Disney's Beauty and the Beast, and I'm specifically talking about the 1991's
Of
animated
course.
one. And I remember the Beast being like this kind of tortured soul and all
Right.
about expressing their emotional anger and wrath like uncontrollably, to the point of being very rude, very unabashed about its like impulses. And there's a transition. Um, there's a
Hmm.
transition slide period in the animated movie where Beauty, who's been held captive for a while, and now they're kind of I would say getting along slowly but surely, and she's trying to educate him how to, like,
Hmm.
I don't know, like take on a spoon at dinner, and like how to get like liquids and soups in a proper manner. And he's like trying to imitate her, but like to a lesser effective degree, I would say. And this
Yeah.
dynamic is can be portrayed by how can we tame our beast? How can we tame and sophisticate our own impulses so that they can be beneficial at the end for both us and the other one, the partner or
Yeah.
society.
Yeah.
So, like, if you think about it, the Aries Libra axis can be viewed as the archetypal couple the vast majority of people will experience. Like a battery, one
Hmm.
partner must play the assertive role, while the latter becomes the conciliating pole, a more passive one, creating a neutral
Yep.
attraction or a like um not necessarily neutral, but it's more um complementary.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the couple needs to switch between roles periodically for the
Yes.
relationship to last. Otherwise, the passion can wane easily, and the understanding
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So that is the true balance Libra is tasked to achieve. Become the attractive, agreeable person they are, while not neglecting their decision making skills. So that is not an
Yeah.
easy thing to do.
No, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's
You can attest
it's
to
a
that.
challenge. I can attest to that.
So symbolically, you know that I like that part. The sign of Libra can be pictured by a quaint little European town with those cobblestone paths that leads to a central marketplace. The gable houses are built with local natural stone and
Yeah.
decorated with an even number of flower baskets. The balmy air is filled with delicious fragrance from the nearby bakery and peppered with the soft spoken voices of the inhabitants. Everything in this village seems to be in order and is oozing harmony. So there's this kind of very polite, very I would say soft spoken
Yeah.
attitude that can be exemplified in
Very
Libra.
cultured.
Very
Yeah.
cultured.
Refined, genteel.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
That is the complete
Yeah.
opposite of the, well,
Yeah.
the most impulsive, like I said before, the most impulsive, almost brutish, sometimes confrontational side of Aries. But we do need both in order to make someone
Yeah.
whole.
Yeah.
And on the other side, I would also say, by analogy, that Libra's most ideal or most healthy depiction would be some kind of worldly diplomat that can be able to be this kind of worldly ambassador and able to charm and persuade everyone, every like world leader without confrontation, without being rude about it, without being insistent. So they can
Yeah.
charm, their
Yeah.
way through life. This is really how Libra
Yeah.
can operate at its best. And also, I would also say this is, I think this would be my last analogy for the day, but still, um, I, Libra reminds me of this 18th century France. You know, this Louis the 14th or the Louis the 15th
Yep.
court, the courtiers and something like that. This was all over
Yeah.
exaggerated, to be frank, but still, that there has to be this kind of very strong social etiquette, this social stature that you need to uphold and withstand
Yeah.
being with all those courtiers and courtesans. So, and all this kind of over the top
Yeah.
um rules was really difficult for the
Yeah.
layman or layperson to endure. So if you hadn't been, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
connected to some other people within the group, well, you needed to learn the ropes very carefully and not make any faux pas. And that is all about Libras like tiptoeing and
That's right.
balancing in the area of life. So that's why Libra's um, main bad quality is all about indecision because they're always weighing the pros and cons of their actions.
Yeah.
And like I've mentioned
Yeah.
before,
Brandy just made a comment
oh,
saying that, yeah, Libras love opulence. Sorry.
uh,
I was saying that Brandy mentioned in the chat that Libras love opulence.
yes, and this can also bring me, I don't want to spoil something, but Libra alongside Leo
Mm-hmm.
are some of the more, I would say, I don't like that term, but narcissistic kind of signs that they are in
Yep.
the. So when you get a lot of Libra
Yep.
and Leo in your chart, there is a real, well, tendency to be a little bit more, I would say, self sufficient, especially when it comes to Leo. Libras are can also have it, but they know how to schmooze their way into it.
Mm-hmm.
They know how to use it to their
Yeah.
advantage in a way that is less blatant, but still the
Yeah.
little self interested and a little bit uh, I do have words for that, but I don't know if it's appropriate. Not
I
haughty,
know,
but a
yeah,
little
I
bit
know. I
like
know. I'm thinking um, self-serving. You
yeah,
know.
yeah. This that there's a disguise to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
Yes. Yeah.
self-serving, but
Yeah.
in the same way, it's like they're trying to convince you that they care about you, but it's not
Yeah.
necessarily true. That's the dark
Yeah.
side of
Like
Libra.
superficial. Yeah. The
Yes,
superficial. That's
yes,
on. It's on the surface, not deep. Yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I've
Yeah.
mentioned
I can
before,
see that.
Libra's first ruling planet is Venus, like the sign of Taurus we've discussed on a couple of weeks ago. Like, while
Mm-hmm.
both signs can have lots of similarities, there are even more distinctions to talk about. Taurus is bound by its senses and is about forming an emotional bond with its environment, while Libra is about the relational bonds. Both speaks about achievements, but the former, Taurus, is material, earth, while the other is intellectual, air. So I must also not forget to mention Libra's second ruler, Saturn, here, which represent the justice and fairness aspect of this sign. Libra can have stern views on personal principles that they aren't willing to concede. Therefore, they can
Yeah.
appear cold and distant compared to their usual good natured self. That is why so many Libras are found to be lawyers, or yeah, in the law system, in the
Yeah.
law area, I would say.
Yeah.
So there's this, as I would also add, every time we encountered an air element sign like Libra, we we are prone to look into the duality of that sign. When we looked at Gemini, there was this spiritual self and the more hedonistic self. Now, with Libra, it's all about the more sultry, harmonizing, and people pleasing Venus versus the more moralizing, cold, and I would say self righteous Saturn. But there's also fear associated with that. So
Yes.
fear is all about
Yes.
the fear of not being enough. Libra's fear is all about making faux pas,
Yeah.
making themselves look bad. There's a
Yeah.
really strong fear about that. So also,
Yeah.
can I? Yep. The sign of the scales is a cardinal air sign, meaning that its role is to establish and create cardinal, that is the creating side, social interactions, air. Being the first sign of autumn in the northern hemisphere, Libra is now initiating the second phase of human development, which involve adapting the self to external expectations. Now, this can be obviously be quite a challenge since meeting people is usually meaning that there will be a difference in opinion and beliefs, potentially creating
Right.
some conflicts. So yeah, definitely with Libra, there's a fear of creating conflicts. But the job of Libra here is to effectively walk the tightrope of relationships without forgetting either principle of conciliation or assertion mentioned before. So that's why it's like very difficult.
Yeah.
You can have very, usually there will be some kind of, I would say, overemphasis between one side or the other. So some Libras will overemphasize their Venus part, so being overly affectionate, wanting to create bond at all costs, and being subservient. But there is also the opposite way, being very Saturn-like. So those Libra can be quite taciturn or uncompromising, and Libra can effectively oscillate between these two stances. Remember when I talked about
Yeah.
Virgo last podcast, when I said that there's a mad Virgo and a wise Virgo, and they can
Yeah.
like move between these two. That's the same thing for Libra. There's this kind of how can I create comfort when I'm or have anyone being content when there's this situation that is bound to create conflicts. So where's my role into that? How can I put myself into something that is comfortable for myself and others? Those are all the thoughts that runs into Libra's mind. So that's why both planetary energies can be very different from each other. The Venus side of Libra doesn't want to create conflicts, and the Saturn part needs to be appropriate. and rule bound.
Yeah.
So those two energies symbolize Libra's hardship to find true harmony within themselves, so to reconciliate their need for harmony with their need for maturity. Yes, because
Yeah.
this is the first sign of the maturity period of the zodiac, the maturity
Mm-hmm.
half. So they need to grow. When we first entered the zodiac, it was all about, remember, Aries is ruled by Mars and the Sun. Both are very egotistical planets. But now with the scales, Libra, we're now, it's now the opposite. We have to learn cooperation. We have to learn how to
Yeah.
create consensus within people. So yeah, consequently, the scale's biggest challenge in life is to always find middle ground between external expectations and their own desires, which can be truly anxiety inducing.
Mm-hmm.
It is important to know
Yeah.
that most Libra people tend to prefer one planet style over another, like I've said before, while the other style kind of being tossed around and transformed into frustration instead. Oh, I see
Mm-hmm.
Brandy's got a question. I can't see the whole question, but does the Saturn return has a strong influence, I think? Is that it?
Yeah. Does the Saturn return, yeah, have a strong influence on Libra?
It can. For those who don't know, each planet revolve, revolves around the zodiac, and um, I would say that some planets can take. Oh, each planet has its own length of cycle. So, for example, the moon being the fastest one
Right.
goes around the zodiac and make a complete cycle at about like 28 and a half days. So it's very, very quick. Compare that to Saturn.
Yeah.
Saturn takes about 28 to 29 years to make a complete cycle around the zodiac. So you can go around for the other planets
Yeah.
all the way to Pluto, who takes about 256 years. So you can see that each planet can affect someone very
Ooh.
distinctively. So each planet can really have this tremendous amount of energy released when it activates something in our chart.
Mm.
So the concept of Saturn return is when Saturn in our chart, our personal chart, makes its return to its original position, and that usually takes about 28 to 29 years, around that. So as
Mm-hmm.
for Libra, I would say that it depends. If Libra's very strong in someone's chart, there will be definitely something here. The Saturn return for everyone is usually some kind of
Mm-hmm.
um I would say reconsideration of someone's path. Have we learned a lesson? Have we reconsidered something that is not
Yeah.
right in our relationships or with our family?
Mm-hmm.
Saturn's the planet of karma, life lessons. So that's
Yeah.
why it is very important to know how and where our original Saturn in our birth chart, where is it is located and how it's coping with the aspects related to our Saturn. And for Libras, if the Libra person is very, very oriented towards Saturn, then yes, there will
Mm-hmm.
be a definite stance to be made around that period, 20, 28, 29 years of age.
Yeah.
I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. Yeah. I,
So
I I think it does. Yeah.
Yeah. So, where was I? Yeah, it is important to note that most Libra people tend to prefer one planet style over another, with the other style being dismissed and transformed into frustration, like I said before. So,
Yeah.
preferred careers for Libra, they are plentiful, but they can be divided into two major groups depending on their favored planet, whether it be Venus or Saturn. So,
Mm-hmm.
Venus style Libra will thrive on artistic jobs such as fashion, interior design, painting, illustration, cosmetics, advertising. Yeah, you can name it all. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And especially where they can harmonize an environment, or they can work with people. Remember, Libra is the people meeting sign of the zodiac. So they're all about being this kind of befriender as a way to
Yeah.
establish relationship. Those uh, this sign in particular are the most is the most prone to be in some kind of career that is involving people and meeting different needs, conciliating,
Like sales.
mediating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saturn style Libra, on the other hand, they will find their calling usually in some kind of lawyers, judge, courtroom officials, mediators, notaries, etc. So everything related to the judiciary
Mm-hmm.
system is
Yeah.
very, very good for this kind of Libra, this Saturn style Libra. And you know what?
Yeah.
I haven't included her in my celebrity slides because
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the accurate birth hour. But Judge Judy,
Yeah.
she's got, I think, 4 planets in Libra.
Yeah. That would. Yeah. Yeah.
Eh,
And a big Saturn that's around. Yeah.
yes, you got it.
Yeah.
She's very
Yeah.
exemplifying of the Saturn style of Libra.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I'll be
So,
fair, but there's yeah, I'm not bullshitting. I'm not telling a story. Boom. Yeah.
yes.
Very yeah.
So that's a good example of a very almost like cut to the chase kind of Libra
Yeah.
that can
Yeah.
defy stereotypes.
Yeah.
And yeah, but as a general rule, um, either style, whether it be Venus or Saturn style,
Mm-hmm.
often yearn for some jobs that will provide them with a good work life balance. Definitely. They don't
Yeah.
want to overdo it on some way. They want like, because um, Libras kind of, they don't want things to be too hard. They don't want things to be unpleasant. And it is especially true for Venus style Libras. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, the dark side
Sorry,
of
I'm just
Libra.
I'm just making notes.
Okay. I was
No,
wondering.
yes, unfortunately yeah. There's good and bad. Yeah. We have to admit that we are not perfect. We're close, but not
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Absolutely. I didn't read all those and go, yeah. Yeah.
so I think I've come
Totally.
up to your favorite part. We're going to talk
Totally. I
about the
think
dark side of Libra.
yes.
Okay. So, the dark side
Yes.
of Libra.
And there
Yeah.
honestly and truly, yeah, there can be a dark side. And it's
Yes.
not a pleasant side. Yeah.
No, like any other signs.
Yeah.
So good. The dark side of Libra reveals
Yeah.
itself when they have not tried to find their inner equilibrium and fall prey to either of the extreme laziness of Venus or the harshness of Saturn. During that stage, people become unhinged and unreliable since they can easily vacillate between the two principles without any warning. Frustrated by always trying to adapt themselves to
Yeah.
others' expectations, some retaliate by lashing out at people, embodying the negative side of Aries' brash and uncontrollable nature. Their rudeness is only equal to their immaturity to take
Yeah.
criticism, and this can ultimately lead to friends turning their backs against them, fulfilling Libra's basic fear of being alone and unloved. Some others fall into Libra's
Yeah.
vanity and become unbelievably conceited and covered up with what they could barely pass. They like to make themselves like self-aggrandizing, and some kind of they want to pass it out as
Yeah.
being congenial, but they're really like conceited and rude. What they perceive as detachment
Yeah.
and refinement is viewed as contempt for others. There is an inability
Yeah.
for unhealthy
Exactly.
Libras to see themselves accurately when they overdo the negative side of Venus, that is laziness, overindulging, and expecting others to give their undivided attention and time to them. The
Yeah.
worst thing for Libra is to cut themselves up from socializing and relationships in general.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. There is nothing scarier than the thought of um, when you're a very social kind of person to be cut off from that. It's like it almost like a sickness. Yeah, it
Yeah,
becomes an addiction to get that. So yeah, if there is not a healthy balance of other planets and a healthy um, knowledge of oneself to be critical enough and to
mm,
be oh, what's the word, to be aware enough to realize when when personality traits need to change,
yeah,
and when you can, yeah, when to bend, when to stand firm, um
yeah.
when to go along with the crowd, when not. Yeah, so it takes a good deal of work to get to that point. When
It
you consider,
is.
it's much easier just to sit back and go, no, it's all about me, me, me,
Yeah,
me, me, me. It's all about what I want. But then you don't get what you want because you end up being alone. And that's the last
yep,
thing that a Libra wants, is to be alone.
yeah. Or the complete
Yeah.
opposite of being the doormat.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. The one that, yeah, you just feel used all the time. Yeah.
Yep.
Totally. I get it. Yeah. I get it.
So the life mission of Libra is to learn internal equilibrium, as previously mentioned. When they manage
Mm-hmm.
to recognize their self worth, that is Venus, they verticalize themselves and mature, that is Saturn. They understand that there is balance
Yeah.
in everything, even when things seems unfavorable to some parties. Relationships are a part of life and act as a catalyst for growth. By meeting others, we often meet part of
Yeah.
ourselves that we often neglect or don't want to see. Accepting those differences makes us open for
Yeah.
change and evolution. Relationships are a dance, and we need to learn the steps as we practice together. Internalizing those very principles is crucial to Libra
Yeah.
as they make up their identity around their various bonds to become a true mediator of goodwill. At their best, Libra people stop being confrontational or overly hesitant and embrace the various incongruities of life, meeting people and intuitively adjusting to what is preferable to each situation. Yep. That is Libra's conundrum.
Sorry, say
That
that
is
again. Yeah, you
uh,
either,
the last sentence.
yeah. Yes,
At
please.
their okay, at their best, Libra people stop being confrontational or overly hesitant and embrace the various incongruities of life, meeting people and intuitively adjusting to what is preferable to each situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. That's true. I can't argue.
So, as
Oh,
Libra is the sign of relationships, people with generous amounts of placements in that sign will strive to find create a strong relationship where equity is paramount. They enjoy creating a congenial atmosphere and making themselves desirable in the eyes of their significant other. In an ideal couple's life, the Libra believes that each should give and receive an equal amount of attention and care should the
mhm.
relationship be successful. And as for their sexual preferences, they usually like for their partner to share the fun and create an exciting ambience. Yeah, Libra is all about the other people. It's all about being like it takes two to tango. It's like
Yeah,
all being relational.
yeah, yep.
So here we go on the associations. I won't delve into all of them, but
Mhm.
like always, I want to emphasize about the body parts, the elements, and
Yeah,
the occupations. So the body parts, you remember our zodiac men were about to enter
yeah,
just below the abdomen. So we're all in the
indeed.
lower back, the lower spine. So the kidneys, by association to Venus, the ovaries and the veins.
Yeah,
So when you think about it, especially for the kidneys, this is Libra's weakness. This is Libra's
yeah,
body part that is most emphasized, usually in astrology books. And the kidneys' function, again, is to like balance and to filtrate uh,
yeah,
our like waste, metabolic waste. So they're kind of acting as like balance in a way for us to
mhm,
eliminate what is not being treatable by the body and leaving the
yeah,
rest, leaving the healthy things into flow. So and coming by
yeah,
by pairs too. The kidneys, there are two of them, so that
yeah,
there's the both side of the scales.
yeah,
And again, for the elements, the issues that Libra can have, it's all about the kidneys and lower back problems. by association
Yeah.
again with the association with Venus, eczema.
Mm-hmm.
And as for the occupation, like I said before, everything related to these both side, Venus or Saturn side, they're this kind of artistic or judicial side of
Yeah.
this sign that is very
Yeah.
interesting to look at.
Mm-hmm. That is.
So any planet that falls in Libra will need to express itself through a harmonious and balanced filter. Otherwise, this may create immediate conflicts between the planet wants and the external situation. Failure to express planets in a healthy way may result in disharmony, requiring constant adjustments, irritability,
Mm-hmm.
and or urinary system issues. So, you've got, I think, three of them, if I'm not mistaken. Marina, you've got the Sun, Venus, and
Probably.
Mars. So, yeah, you've got
Yeah,
a
I
couple
think
of
so. I
them.
don't. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I don't.
at
I don't have
least
the chart in front of me.
I do remember you having the Sun. I think you've got Venus and Mars.
Yeah.
So, let's see if it's matching to your own personality. So the Sun in Libra, every person that's
Yeah.
got this position
Yeah.
here,
I think so.
their identity is tied to personal balance and ability to create and maintain harmony. They feel alive when upholding fairness. That's why you can see so
Yeah.
many people having this position being in some kind
Yeah.
of mediating position, whether it could be like a family affair, or
Mm-hmm.
in work, at work. So yeah, definitely doesn't mean that you want to be a
Yeah.
judge to have this kind of position, but yeah.
Yeah.
So the moon in Libra,
Yeah.
the moon in Libra is all about, again, being in balance, but instead of creating it, you're reacting to it. So their emotional security is tied to beauty and peace. They need harmony to feel at ease. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. This harmony for Moon and Libras is catastrophic. It's like, oh my God, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
I'm gonna end it all up.
Yeah.
The Moon in
Yeah.
Libra is so sensitive
Yeah.
to anything that can perturb this kind of harmonious um, harmonious environment, that they can
Yeah.
end up being extremely almost, I would say, it's almost like they don't want to create conflict, so they will try to, it's like walking on eggshells always
Mm-hmm.
to them when they encounter someone that it's too confrontational. Well, they kind of back up in a way, except when the moon is assisted with something else in the chart. But usually, the moon in Libra is very, very reactive when it comes to um, confrontation in general, or chaos, or something that is like disturbing the peace. And they nurture
Yeah.
people by making
Yeah.
an atmosphere congenial and pleasant.
Yeah.
They can also, I've seen quite my fair share of moon in
Yeah.
Libra being good at decorating, like interior decorating, because the moon speaks about the home, our internal self. So usually
Mm-hmm.
the moon in Libra is very good at making something quite beautiful or like balance. So they know how to like um, almost intuitively know how to make something more either cozy or more, I would say, pleasant to the eye. Mercury in Libra. Mind and interests are oriented towards justice, consensus, and again, beauty. So yeah, it is very important for Mercury in Libra for communication to be delivered in some kind of non-confrontational way, but also in some kind of they want to get feedback from others. They want to know about what do you think about that? How can I do that? And they're really good
Yeah.
at being open for things, for feedback, for things that they can improve on.
Yeah.
So they can adjust themselves. They're focused on a balanced mind between practical and intellectual also.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. They it's all about being some kind of mediating stance with Mercury here. Um, and being in an air sign again, they can be really good at having this kind of rhetoric that is almost music to someone's eyes, to someone's ears. So it's like very quality based and suave almost. They know how to charm people by speaking. Venus in Libra.
Yeah.
So Venus is the ruler of Libra. So Venus here will get very important. There will be a lot of emphasis on Venus here. So Venus in Libra likes to attract people by its charm and delightful conversation. It's all about being engaging, being pleasant, almost to the point of being like saccharine sometime. There's this a very strong need for being liked. Oh my God. Enormous, I would say. Enormous need to be worthy of
Yeah.
others. Even more so almost than
Yeah.
Venus in Taurus. Venus in Libra lives through the other's eyes. It's like this can be dangerous, I would say. They absolutely they absolutely hate
Yeah.
conflicts, but they can be very tactful.
Yes. Yeah.
And there's absolutely a need to feel beautiful. Absolutely. They love beauty. They are in love with love. They love everything to be beautiful. Absolutely. And also in a man's chart,
Yeah.
this can also
Yeah.
signify um, liking beautiful women, like very, like women who take care of themselves and being feminine and yeah, almost stereotypical feminine.
Yeah. Interesting.
So when Mars is in Libra, Mars isn't very comfortable in Libra, I would say at first, because Mars is all about self-assertion and Libra
Yeah.
needs to have consensus. So there's a conflict here.
Yeah.
So the good side that of this position that is that they can defend justice and fairness or other social issues. They can be like social warriors in a way. So they want to uphold things to be like fair and just for everyone.
Yeah.
They can be diplomatic in the way they assert themselves, which can be good. But at the same time, they can have a difficulty to assert and to truly be like, yeah, this is what I want, because it can cause conflict. And yeah, this
Yeah.
is not necessarily easy. But
Yeah.
being a Mars in air, they can be vehemently, they can argue their point and they can be
Yeah.
argumentative should they consider like something very important to them that has been violated. Oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely.
That I would strongly agree with. Yes. Yeah. Fairness is very, very important to me. Fairness and things being equal, being just, being equitable. Yeah, nothing makes me angrier than to see injustice.
Yeah.
So yeah. The quickest way to lose my friendship is lie to me.
Yeah.
That's it. We're done. We're
Yep.
done. You are dead.
Yeah. And you can see that, like, I
Yeah.
don't have Mars in Libra. So for me, injustice is like not necessarily a word that I would choose for me to something
Mhm.
that can get a rise out of me. It
Yeah.
doesn't ring true to me.
Yeah.
So you can definitely see that for some people that got their disposition here, yeah, definitely they can identify with it, and they can like truly be affected when it's triggered. And especially with Mars, it's like
Yeah.
whew, it's violent.
Yeah. 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 Very, very quick to respond, very quick to, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm at the dog park and I see someone at the dog park and they are mistreating their dog.
Oh
Oh, the
God.
fight's on. you know?
Yeah.
Because yeah, that's just boom, done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I get that. I will own up to that.
um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
so,
Hmm.
examples of celebrities with dominant Libra in their charts are American writer and professor of feminism and racial issues Roxane Gay, with 14 points out of 20 in Libra. That it says massive.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And you can see with this placement that this is, while Venus here is in Libra, which should indicate someone who likes conciliation and being like endearing. At the same way,
Uh-huh.
at the same time, you've got Mars here, you've got Pluto, which not it is not about being like I would say like uh equity based. You got Uranus, you
Mhm.
got the sun. So you've got a lot of combative energy coming from a quote unquote peaceful
Yeah.
sign. So that is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You've
Very much
got
so.
American businesswoman and professional wrestler Stephanie McMahon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 11 points. Get a lot of Libra. And
Wow.
for wrestler, you wouldn't associate Libra with wrestling, but yeah, here it is. Then
Yeah.
you've got
Wow.
American bassist and comic spokesman for folk music trio The Lime Litters, Lou Gottlieb, 9 points.
Oh, okay. All right.
You've got British musician and actor Martin Kemp, 8 points.
Wow.
You've got American hip hop and R&B singer Maya, again, and 8 points.
All
And
right.
the very, very big one, former
Yeah.
British Prime Minister David Cameron, 7 points.
Okay. Is that Cameron?
Yep.
I did, John. I didn't hear that. Is
Yeah, it
that
is.
Cameron?
It is David Cameron.
Who is the British guy? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah. He doesn't surprise me. He doesn't
Yep.
surprise me. Yeah, politician. Politician. Yeah.
And I want to.
Can you go
I
ahead?
just want to make a side note here. Remember when I talked about Libra and Leo emphasis in someone's chart being a little bit narcissistic? Well,
Yes.
you've got these here emphasized. But their love.
Ah,
There's a really strong love for like being in the limelight when you've got those two.
yeah.
Strong Leo and
Yeah.
strong Libra. Yep. And there's also another one that's got even like this kind of setup here, Leo and Libra. And this is not other than Bill Clinton.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. They're, yeah, can charm the birds
Oh
off the
yeah.
trees with his, and it is a kind of charm, and even almost a childlike charm that
Yes.
when he, he's lying to you, he's not telling the truth, but at the same time, I mean, he speaks so eloquently. So yeah, that's yeah, that would be very, very frustrating
Yeah.
to deal with that kind of personality. Vladimir Putin is another one who's a Libra, oddly
Yes.
enough. And yeah,
Yes.
I'm sure that um, yeah, he's
Probably the
got
more
a lot of,
Saturn side.
yes, yeah, yeah. I definitely say that, and he's a good talker. He can be charming, but
Yes.
he's, yeah, very, very, very narcissistic. Just
Mm.
razor focused on what he wants. So yeah, yeah. What can you do? Well, that was really, really good and um, insightful. Even for me, even knowing a good bit about myself, about Libra, of course, because everybody, you always know a lot more about your own sign than you do anybody else's. But yes, and I could see, as you were talking, I could see the progression of the influence of the different signs,
Yeah.
the different planets throughout my life.
Mm.
Where, yeah, initially it was very much conciliatory. Yeah, it's, don't rock the boat, get along. And then kind of learning how to set the boundaries, where to set the boundaries. And it's a learning process every single day. It's a learning process where I can, fine tune things, right?
Of
But
course.
that's what we do. That's what we do when we grow. So
Yep.
yeah, that was wonderful. I really, really enjoyed that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So yeah, I think, you know what? We haven't had any other questions. I think we're probably, as usual, I think more people are going to catch it later on.
Yep.
So, to those that are catching on, and I mentioned in the beginning, so hopefully you've stuck with us this far. But um, don't forget, after you watch this video, and if you watch um, the Virgo and the Cancer before,
Mhm.
make sure that after you watch the video, leave a comment. Okay, even if it's just to say enter me, and we'll have another draw for for a free astrological reading and a 30-minute tarot reading. And we'll do that the end of November, November 30th, just before we get into Sagittarius. And then we're going to think of something else to do for the final one in December, which actually kind of falls right between Christmas and New Year's. And it's not only is it a busy time, people aren't really focused, they're not around and whatnot, but doing up these presentations is really time consuming for John to do that. And I really appreciate the fact that he does these, because it's not just as easy as just pick a couple words or whatnot. There's definitely effort that goes into it. So to ask him, on top of everything else that he does, to put in more effort, we'll think of something special for the third one, but we may have to put it off until sometime New Year, whatever. So okay, now I have Sun in Leo and Libra, right? Just a minute. I'm just reading, John. There's a couple comments here that Keith R just came in and said, whoever JM is, hey JM, I have Sun in Leo and Libra rising, and I don't have any of these. Oh, these negative qualities. Okay, then. All right. Then, Keith, you are absolutely perfect. Just the way you are. So anyway, yeah, don't forget, leave a comment. We'll do the draw on November 30th before we do the Sagittarius video. And then maybe we'll have some more information about what we're going to do in the end, or how we'll handle the end and whatnot. And then John is going to take a much deserved break after that before we think about doing anything else. So anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and comments. Don't forget to subscribe. Look down in the description of the video. You'll have the link for Heart Center Tarot, also for Massalia Astro Tarot. Subscribe to both channels, and we will see you next Wednesday. Yeah, next Wednesday when we do Scorpio, right?
Scorpio.
I think, yeah, Scorpios actually. Yay! Okay. All right. Thanks for being here, and see you later, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.